chanting. Oh.
segue into the class.
Well, it's hard to translate it in English unless you help me.
Okay, so he said Navai comes from, like, it's just a sound we make, like when we chant, like when we're calling out to God, like avaz or ava, it's just a sound. And what I understood, my Farsi is not that great, is it talks about Javani Bogzarat, like our youth is gone and you didn't appreciate it. Like, what did you make of your time? What did you use? Did you enjoy it? Were you in the moment? There's another one where it says, the wild bird, if it flies away, like my love, my heart, or our moments, our opportunities, our life, is like that wild bird. Like if you scare it away, it'll never land in that place again. So kind of like the fragility of situations and maximize your opportunity. The other verse that I understood was, wouldn't it be beautiful for Gedahi Bashahi, like the poor person and the king, to be equal, you know, to sit at a table equally. So
Wonderful translation.
Yeah,
I-
I noticed that, yeah.
I have nothing to add. On top of it, I just explain about this song. We have a very spiritual state in Iran, Khorasan. The borderline of the Khorasan is Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and a lot of mystic poetry and poet come from Khorasan. And epic also Ferdowsi. Most of you guys are Persian, you know Ferdowsi. And they have this kind of chant navoi in different part of Khorasan, north of Khorasan, south, southwest, southeast. And the most famous one is the one they play and for their ritual and for their spiritual gathering is navoi, which came from Torbatejam, south of Iran, which we have a lot of mystical places there. This kind of navoi is 80% of the south and some percent of the north of Khorasan, Uchan. This is a little history of this kind of navoi. If you go and type navoi in YouTube, you're gonna find different version of navoi. Simabina, this kind of navoi, this verse is with the voice of Bijane Bijani. If you just want to go to
The first singer? Who was the first singer who?
the first singer is Simabina for the public, but you know this melody back to maybe 1,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Locally, people when they they had a spiritual gathering, they started singing this navoi. Navoi is kind of dialogue with God. Navoi, like oh my God, something like that. It doesn't have certain meaning. Navo means sound, but navoi is when you are, depressed or you want to connect with God. You say navoi, navoi.
thank
Yeah.
you. I
You're
feel like now
welcome.
we're all on a high. Okay, so I'm going to do a little recap of last week. We spoke about what is Kabbalah. Marjan Jun, do you want to pull up a chair from over there too?
Oh, sorry.
No, you can sit there too, but just to be rahat. Okay. So we spoke about what is Kabbalah, what does it come from. We spoke about how it is the root of all the religions and all forms of spirituality. We spoke about that everything you want in life is what? What are we looking for in life? Are we looking for material objects? Are we looking for the relationship? What are we looking for? What was the code name for it? Light. Light. So we said everything we want comes from light. The light is the light source of the infinite, the light source of God. So we spoke about when you think you wanted the shoes or the car or the house, what happens a year later, 5 years later, a month later? Are you still enjoying it?
No.
It's the same thing, but you're not connecting to the light in that anymore. You're not connecting to the energy in that anymore. So we spoke about that. If you look at the handout I gave you, I should have given that last time. The Kabbalists explained that everything we're looking for it's like the colors, like the love, clarity, success, relationships, all those things are different colors, but the white light encompasses everything. So the only thing you need to do is, instead of thinking, let me chase my career, let me chase that relationship, let me chase to have clarity, if you just connect to the white light, if you just connect to the source, all that will be taken care of. We said, why aren't we born with that light? If we're meant to have that light, why aren't we born with it? Does anyone remember? No, none of the students from last time? You have to earn it, yes. How do we earn it?
Different situations and overcoming and learning and growing.
Yes, you earn it by having a challenge that makes you want to act not like the light. When that happens, then you have a choice. Until that happens, you don't have any choice. You don't have free will. Free will comes when you're presented with a challenge and you want to react. You want to, yell at your kid, yell at your spouse, call the school and give them a piece of your mind for not taking care of the kid who's bullying your kid, or whatever it is. When you pause, when you take a minute, that's when your free choice comes in. That's the only time you're able to connect to light. Okay? So now that I've said this, our challenge is a good thing or a bad thing? Good thing. Because if you have like an easy day and no challenges, you don't have an opportunity to download light. Susan, you want to pull up a chair from the back?
There's also one here.
Oh, there's also room here, Sue. Okay. We spoke about pause. Okay, so what are we pausing when we pause? Exactly. You're pausing your reactive nature. Susan, if you want to smush in with Massa, she said there's room for her too. So you're pausing your need to react. So like, for instance, you get a phone call, okay? You get phone call, you get bad news, God forbid. Someone, I don't know, something happened at school. Someone is sick. You got a lawsuit. Something happened. What is your first instinct?
To react.
What do you want to do?
Run.
What would you do?
Run.
Call someone. Try to solve it.
Yeah.
See who I can call. Call a doctor. Call a lawyer. Call this. All of that is reactive. Okay? All of that, it's your gut instinct, it's reactive. The light comes in when you pause in that moment. You're pausing your need to react. Okay? The bigger the obstacle, the bigger the challenge, the bigger your restriction, okay? The more light that you're injecting in that situation. So imagine someone gets a lawsuit, $25,000, okay? Now that you understand this, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, oh my God, I got a lawsuit for $25,000? No, you're thinking, amazing. 25,000? I wish it were 100,000, right? Like, what do? You pause, you still go through the motions of calling your lawyer, but not from lack, not from fear, not from doubt, not from insecurity, not from your need to control, manipulate, and fix it. You're coming from a different place, okay? So we said we pause and we say, what a pleasure. What a pleasure it is that I have the opportunity to change and download this energy. So, okay, I'm going to go into it more.
So is it that when you say this, it affects your mood?
If you want to look at it as your mood, so there's two dimensions of looking at things, okay? Did I talk about the 1% and the 99% last time? So there's two dimensions that we exist in, okay? The physical world that we're in, the Kabbalists call the 1% world. Why is it the 1% world? Because it's the world that we can experience with our five senses, and we know that our five senses are limited. We don't see everything else that's happening. There's a lot happening. We have gamma rays, infrared rays, there's all these Wi-Fi thing. Everything is happening around us, but we don't see it. They call the upper world, the spiritual realm, okay, the 99. That is like I don't want to say the real world, I don't want to call it that, but that's the plane on which we want to operate. So every time you're pausing, you're elevating your consciousness from the physical world to a more higher powered world. You're tapping into the realm of the 99. It is that realm we spoke about last week. You missed it. That's where you get insights. That's when you get those feelings of premonition. That's when you get a gut feeling. That's when artists get, like, in 1 minute, he can see like a whole composition. Like that. Why? How did that happen? He connected to that force. He connected to that realm.
Thanks.
So as much as we can, okay, we want to connect to that world. That's the world that draws down the blessings. So you're saying, does it give you peace of mind? Does it give you comfort? Does it change your mood? In the 1% world, yes. But in the 99% world, it opens the floodgates. You're connecting to the light, you get everything. So the light that you're drawing now is like loading your bank account, your spiritual bank account, for blessings later. So maybe your kids have an easier time in the future. Maybe an illness that was supposed to come gets thwarted off. You're banking it, okay? And every time we're reactive, and I don't want to focus on this, but every time we're reactive, you're kind of depleting it, right? Okay. All right, any questions? I'm going to go into new content. Let me move this Mehrdad John so you're not uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with.
Okay. Does anyone want to share where they felt reactive in this past week? We all felt reactive, right? We all felt reactive. Okay, yeah, a million times a day. Does anyone want to share one time when they felt reactive? Were they aware of it? How did they handle it? Nobody wants to share? Yes.
Okay, so my house flooded for the second time in the last month, in the last year. So I was very reactive when they had to come and break the walls again. It was like this, I have people in my house again. But I have to tell you, Sarah, ever since last week, there's been so many moments where I'm like, pause. Yeah, what a pleasure. And I told myself, it's fixable. It's nothing that's not fixable. And it's God pouring in water, a blessing into my house. I told Jonathan, I'm like, let it rain, let it flood, let it do pumps, whatever's happening there happen. It's God blessing into our house.
Wow.
Water. And I was like, it's okay. Keep pouring, bring it on, upstairs, downstairs. So I think it was just changing my mentality, and I think it awareing myself, like you said, take that moment, pause. It's okay. These people are only here to help fix it. And I was thinking, like, pour it on, bring more water into my house because you're blessing me with more.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it really helped, and it helped my kids not feel that stress, and me and my husband, having that stress of going through this again. But I think I was like, okay, it's God pouring in blessing into our home. We'll take it.
I love that. Speaking of water and stress, there's an analogy that I think about often. We all say, like, we don't want stress, right? Like, I don't want to stress myself. I don't want to put stress on my body. I don't want to put pressure on myself. I don't want to pressure on my kids. Think about it as an empty water bottle that's closed. What happens if you put it underwater?
Nothing comes up.
Imagine I'm holding an empty water bottle underwater. It has a cap on. What happens? The water is putting pressure on the bottle. The bottle is like smushing, right? Like, it's smushing. It's pressure. What is that? That water is the blessings trying to come in our lives through the pressure. So our job, when we pause, when we're not reactive, what you're doing is you're opening the cap to allow that water to come in. So what you did by pausing and not like being like, why did this have to happen twice in 1 year? This sucks. You opened the cap. Okay? I like that. Anyone else want to share how they were? Yeah.
They've been banging away in my house for 4 months now, and I changed my perspective, and me and my kids started dancing to the banging. That's really cute. And it really helped, and I said, what a privilege that I get to dance. And today also, like, I'm like, what a privilege that I'm banging so I can leave and come here. So I took it as a blessing.
Great.
Whereas before I'd be like, fuck. Oh, sorry. So it helps when I get into that mode. So it helped a lot. Brought in positive energy, and it thing to my kids too.
So I'm going to use that as a segue. That was awesome. So before we were born, and I said this last time too, before we were born, our soul, before I came into this world, it chose the life that we're in. Okay? Imagine there's two people having relations, okay, and the soul sees it, and the soul's like, ooh, that's the perfect set of parents for me to be born into, to work on my jealousy, my greed, my anger, whatever, okay? It's kind of like an algorithm, because the soul of the baby chooses the parents, but the soul of the parents also choose the baby. So imagine the parents have like control issues, perfectionism issues. And this child, this soul that's going to come in, that's going to be rude and disrespectful and stubborn is the perfect situation to test the parents to get them to change. Okay? So this kind of, if you think about why are twins, like imagine you have twins, we know a set of triplets, and two of them are twins and then one is separate, and they're very different. They have the same DNA. They were born at the same exact time. Their zodiac is the same, their DNA is the same, the parents are the same, everything is the same. Their personalities are 100% different. How does that happen? How does that happen? So their soul, yeah. So what happens when you're born into the world? You're born with baggage. We're going to call it baggage, okay? Stuff that you're here and that you've had from past lives that you're here to correct, okay? So like I said, greed, jealousy, whatever it is, any attribute that is not like the light is part of this baggage that you're here to fix. So imagine we go back to the twins, okay? One has victim mentality, one becomes successful, one is soft-spoken, the other one is loud. One of these twins, imagine, this twin, this child, this person, this whatever, could be good-looking. You could grow up to be good-looking, you could be successful, you could be, I don't know, have the best family, but you're still unhappy. Why? Why is that? How could someone who has everything be unhappy? You're not connected. When you have these things, but you're not connected to source, you're not connected to the energy behind it. So all these things will always mean nothing. You're always going to be chasing the colors and you're never connecting to that light. Okay? So we want to connect to that behind it. When you're connected to that light, okay, not only do you open the floodgates of blessings for yourself, but people feel it. You can feel when you're around someone who's connected. They're charismatic, jazab dara. You want to be around them. And people who aren't, who are, you know, like they're like, maybe you don't know why. They're good looking, they have money, they party, they're fun, everything is there, but something is missing and you just want to avoid them, right? They're disconnected. And when you're around people who are connected, their outer aura, and we'll learn this later, rubs off on you and you get blessings from them also, just by being around people who are connected. It's that strong. Okay, so the baggage that are we good? Everyone's good? Yeah. Okay, so the baggage that we come into this world with, okay, from past life, that thing that we're here to correct, that is not like the light, is called tikkun. That word means correction, okay? It means that which I'm here to correct. It's any attribute that's unlike the light, okay? Juna.
Repeat one more time about the tikkun because it was right.
Sure. Tikkun is any attribute that you're born with that you're here to correct. So it could be I'm impatient, I'm jealous, I'm angry, I'm snappy.
It's kind of your mission.
Your mission.
In this life.
Your mission.
That's
Yeah,
your
your mission. Your mission.
Thank you.
So how do you know what your tikkun is? What did I tell you guys last time?
Ask your children and husband.
Ask those closest to you. Another clue is anything that bothers you, annoys you, irritates you, gets on your nerves, that's your tikkun. And that's where you're smiling. That's where you should put your focus, because that's where the most amount of light is hiding. It's behind that door, okay? So imagine someone has, now that you know this, imagine someone has a spouse. And I'm not talking about someone who's abusive or an addict or anything unusual. Just imagine a really annoying, say it's a friend, a spouse, whoever it is. Do you want to cut them out of your life because they're annoying? No. This is how you're going to get light. And guess what? If it's not that friend, that tikkun, that energy, that correction, that message will come to you through someone else. So if it's not through that friend because you cut them off, all that annoyance will be transmitted into your child because you can't get rid of your child. Okay? It will come to you. You can't escape it.
Open the baggage.
Yeah, because it's your mirror. It's showing you what within you need to correct. We'll go into more of that later. So there are two parts to our tikkun. Okay? Oh, I'm going to go back and say one more thing. So I'm saying work on your tikkun, work on your tikkun. There's certain people who say, oh, I'm going to be so spiritual, I'm going to go to the beach, and I'm going to sit by the beach, and I'm going to meditate. And I'm working on my jealousy by the beach. And I'm working on my anger issues by the beach, right? Why does that sound silly to us?
Because it's not triggering.
Exactly.
You have the experience.
You can go there to recharge, but you're not working on your tikkun when you're alone at the beach. You need those people in your life to push those, to touch your cavity, as we said last week.
Triggers.
Can I ask
Yes.
a question though?
Juna.
Doesn't, like, let's say meditating, I know a lot of us meditate. When you practice that, doesn't it help you in the moments to pause though? So
Yes.
it's kind of like a tool
Yes. It's a tool to help you pause, but you're not
when you're
working.
getting triggered.
Yes, but you're not working on your tikkun by meditating. You're not working on your triggers by meditating, per se.
Go head first.
Yeah, but I have enough triggers around me. So my issue is the pause is very difficult for me. So how do we work on getting to that first step?
You
And
just have to
pausing.
be aware of it. You have to see it coming. You're going to miss it for a week. You're going to be like, ooh, I should have paused. Ooh, I should have paused. The following
Just
week,
keep
yeah,
experiencing.
there's no way around. There's no
Okay.
quick fix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a muscle. So there's two kinds of tikkun, okay? I call them, these are not the real names, these are how I am teaching them and I understand them so I could remember them. I call it internal and external. The internal tikkun is like the negative attributes that you're here that you're trying to fix. That's like a private thing, right? Your other one is your external tikkun. It's the gifts that you have that you're here in this world to share, okay? So for instance, our Ustad is blessed with talents. So part of his external tikkun, and I'm sure there's others that I don't know about, is that he shares this with the world, okay? Maybe someone else is a doctor, maybe someone else is an OT, or whatever it is, whatever talent you have, someone who is an actress, they share their happiness, they share joy, they make people happy. It's an external, okay? So you have to work on both simultaneously. You can't be a really good doctor, a really good musician, maybe a Kabbalah teacher, whatever, and say, ooh, I'm changing the world by teaching something, and then go home and your private life is a mess because you're reactive with your kids and your spouse and your friends, right? It's both. And you can't say I'm just focusing on myself and not sharing my gifts. It has to be both.
Sorry. You said external is gifts you have to share. What was internal? Gifts?
Internal is you're working on your tikkun
Internal.
internally. Externally is sharing. So both of them is part of your mission, if you want to put it that way. It's what you're here to do. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to use as an example because it's easy. It's not that someone who's sharing their gifts is, oh, I'm just here to share music. No. Sharing the music is the vehicle through which he's going to be triggered and blah, 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 and whatever, so that he could also expend more light. Does that make sense? It's his vehicle. It's his channel. It's not just the music, right? Does that make sense? So the doctor, it's not, oh, my career as a doctor, like that's my external gift. No, you're a doctor, and that's the vehicle through which you're going to be faced with challenges, people complaining, this one died on you, you feel guilty, how are you going to respond to that? It's the channel through which you're going to experience more opportunities in your tikkun to work on yourself, okay? So it could be in one lifetime, a soul is so evil and, you know, like is just completely reactive. And what happens when you're reactive? You tack on baggage. It's like your bag is getting filled with crap, with more stuff, right? So the example I'm giving, and I know it's a huge one, is you could be like Hitler, right? So what happens in his next lifetime? He has to transform all that negativity that he accumulated. So imagine somebody like Hitler would reincarnate as somebody like the Dalai Lama to correct all of that by now sharing all that positivity, right? We're good? Okay. Okay, so when you're doing this stuff, so how does this change your life? Okay, yeah. How does this change your life? When every time you pause, okay, and you come home to your life, you're kind of like shifting dimension. So we've heard of the multiverse, parallel universes, okay? So every time you make a different decision, every time you pause, what you're doing is you're really elevating the reality in which you live. Okay? So imagine every time I choose to not react and I pause, I'm now in a new movie, a new scenario, okay, with myself still as the star, but the people around me are just going to be a little bit sweeter. Right? Okay, I'm gonna go back to that. The way it is kind of like being in a movie theater, right? Let's say we're all watching Titanic. Okay, can I choose how Titanic ends? No. If I don't like the characters, if I don't like how they're talking, if it rubs me the wrong way, can I change the plot? Can I change the actors? Can I change the script? No. What is my free will?
Changing a reaction.
My free will is yes. Every time I change my reaction, I get up out of this movie and I go to the next movie. Okay, I can go, there's a million movies starring me. One's a comedy, one's a drama, one's whatever. Your free choice is to jump from one reality to the next. When does that happen? Every time you pause. Okay? The other way I look at it is, imagine it's like, it's your life on levels. Like imagine you're born into, I don't know, level 47. And it's a good life. It's a mediocre life. You have an okay spouse. You've got okay kids. Everything is okay. How do you want to get to level 87? Every time there's a challenge and you pause, you're bumped up. You're bumped up. Okay? So imagine in 30 minutes you get 30 challenges, right? And you're nailing it. Each one you've paused, get the light, get the light, get the light. You come home, you left the house having a fight with your spouse or Cold War type of thing. You come home, your spouse is like, well, honey, I cooked food for you. You did? You've never cooked a day in your life. I'm going to give you a massage. Really? You're shifting your reality. And everybody around you will change. And I know this is a hard concept. It's not just Kabbalah. This is quantum physics. When you study quantum physics and they study the subatomic particles and where they exist, this whole realm of infinite possibilities and the multiverse and all these things exists within science too. Okay, any questions? Am I moving too fast? Okay, so I skipped around, I'm gonna go back. When we're learning our lesson, okay, when we're learning our tikkun, these are names that I gave it, so if you like ever repeat this to someone, they're gonna be like, that's not a real term, okay? You could learn the lesson like in a soft way or in a hard way, okay? For instance, you could have someone come up to you and be like, you know, Sarah, I really love you, but sometimes when you're sarcastic, it really like upsets me. I don't like it. Please don't be sarcastic with me. Please don't, I don't like it. And okay, that's a really nice way. I heard the lesson. It was soft. Great. Sometimes the lessons come like that, right? Sometimes the lessons come harder. Like someone's going to not be your friend. You feel betrayed. Someone stole from whatever it is. The lesson can come gently or hard, okay? A lot of the times when you're not listening, okay, or changing or responding to the lessons that are coming your way, they get louder and louder until you change. Okay? So, yeah, okay. Do we get that, or do you need me to go into an example? Okay. Okay. Your lack, your tikkun, that lack within you attracts the situation. Remember we said your life was designed, your soul before it came, designed it perfectly to push all of your buttons to get you to change. Okay? Let's say I'm very sensitive to sounds. I hate chesh-cheshi noises. I hate when people are sitting next to me clicking their pen. I hate when you go to a movie theater and someone is chomp, 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 eating popcorn near you. I can't stand it. Okay? So what happens in my life, there's always someone around me making that noise. Always. Nobody else notices it. And if I weren't in that room, I bet you that person wouldn't even be clicking their pen. They wouldn't. Because why are they clicking their pen? Because they got a message from the light. It's Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock, start clicking your pen. They don't even know why they're doing it. But my lack, my tikkun attracted that so that I could work on it. Okay? So if someone betrays you, if someone steals from you, if someone lies to you, whatever happens to you, it's you attracted that so that you could work on that lack that's within you. Make sense? We got that? Okay, that's a big one, right?
So I have a question.
Yes.
How do you work on it?
Yeah.
Like someone betrayed you and it's a family member per se. How do you work on that? You just cut them off your life, you get mad at them, you talk to them, you ignore them. It's really hard.
In the moment when you're feeling all those feelings, pause, breathe, feel it. Don't suppress it. Don't react. Don't call them. Don't cuss them out. Don't shut down. I shut down. I like just numb. Don't shut down. Feel it. Feel it. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's hard. It feels so uncomfortable. Nobody wants to sit in that. Sit in it. And then whatever decision you make, as long as it's not coming from that place, then it's an okay decision. We'll talk about that more in the following classes, but once you put that pause in, you've already injected light into that situation.
Face them, confront them and say,
You might cut them out of your life, but don't do it from a place of lack. Do it from a place of when you're not in that emotional state, you're kind of more whole, and know that whatever they're triggering within you, someone else will come and do it too if you don't work on it. Right? If it's not this one, it'll be that one. Okay, an example I gave in the last class, and I'm going to give it again here, is imagine there's a girl, a woman, and we've all seen this in movies, and she has like a horrible husband, a horrible boyfriend. They're miserable together, like everything goes wrong, and she finally divorces him. Okay, she divorces him, and that husband gets remarried. And all of a sudden he's remarried, and they have the most amazing relationship. He's the best husband to this new wife. What happened? What happened?
He fixed his tikkun?
Her tikkun
Something different.
was something different.
attracted him to be a certain way with her. He doesn't have that same tikkun with a new wife. Do you get it? So we attract someone who provokes the lack within us, someone who touches our cavities.
I have a question about
Yeah.
that because you've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So let's say you do divorce and you said that let's say you divorce someone that's attracting that lack in you. Will you, are you doing the right thing by divorcing because maybe the energies don't match, or are you going to have that same problem with someone else? Like, or does one
If you
make
didn't
that
work
decision?
on it, if you just divorced to avoid it, and in a reactive way, and you never worked on it, you need to learn those lessons. You're gonna learn it the easy way or the hard way. You're gonna learn it.
So it becomes okay if you pause.
If you pause
react,
and you've
you didn't
made,
react,
yes.
And you still left.
Yes, it all depends on where
On
you're
how
coming
you
from.
feel.
Yeah.
So piggybacking on her, so if she was unhappy and she just paused, that's all she needed to fix it?
All you need to do is connect to the light. That's all you ever need to do. I'm teaching you, it's gonna be 10 lessons and then another round of Kabbalah 2 and then Kabbalah 5. All of it is turn on the lights. That's it. Everything else will work out. Whether you stay married, whether you leave, that's not what I'm getting into, but the light will be with you. Okay, so I said the hard lesson and the soft lesson. Okay, so here's another one, and I gave this last time in the class too. Imagine you're walking down, yeah, go ahead.
But how do you know you're like in the light? You could pause and like some of those feelings go away, but how do you really know that you're connected and you're making
You'll
the
practice it and then you'll feel it. It's like someone saying, how do you know I'm losing weight when I'm dieting? Keep doing it. Keep doing it, you'll see it. How do I know I'm working that muscle? You may not feel it right away. There's no like, ooh, I'm connected. I felt it. The light switch went off. There's no sign. You'll just start to see blessings.
You see things differently.
And you know when you pause. You know when you pause. If you keep pausing, you're connected. If you keep dieting, you will lose weight.
Do you get different advice from God when you're pausing? Like, do you have a shift in your mentality
You
and
could.
stuff like
Yeah.
that? Is that how you
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
see
Totally.
things differently?
Totally. So imagine someone's walking down the street. I don't know, let's say Jen is walking down the street and Joe comes and steals from Jen. Okay, robs her. Okay, so according to what we've said, this was written before she was born, that she's going to get robbed on this day by this person, right? let's say before that time, Joe takes a Kabbalah class and says, I'm not going to steal. Stealing is wrong. I'm going to attract more baggage. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to steal from Jen. What happens to Jen?
She gets robbed by someone else.
Yes. Yes. She's going to get robbed by someone else because that's something she needs to go through. That's her tikkun that she has to go through. How can Jen prevent herself from being robbed that day? What can she do to not get robbed?
Previously, she had an experience and she paused. She would elevate her
Correct.
parallel universe to
Correct.
a different universe, and
Correct.
she wouldn't get robbed.
Correct. If you've banked in on your pausing enough times, you've shifted your universe enough times that you don't even have to have that challenge. Right? So that's kind of what I think about all the time when I'm pausing. Like, it's not just the immediate. You're banking this. Okay, good. So tikkun has layers. Someone asked me, well, what if I work on myself and I'm done? Am I just going to die? Right? It has so many layers. The way I look at it is like, I always say an upside down triangle. This is an analogy also based on what you said once. I was playing the DAF and one day I was like, damn, I'm so good. And I know, like after 5 lessons. And really nicely, my teacher said, you know, many students by lesson 5 think they're good, and then their ears get better, and by lesson 6, they realize they're not good. So, because you realize how much more there is. So the way I look at it, and this analogy works everywhere, okay? Sorry, it's not so dark. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
It's an upside down triangle with levels. So when you're here, it's very easy to get to here. And then when you're here, you look down, you're like, damn, I'm so good. I'm mastering DAF. I'm really good at my tikkun, whatever it is. When you bump up and you cross that, you look at this huge thing and you're like, shit, there's so much more to go, right? Until you go to the next, and that's constantly what it is that upside down triangle, okay? So tikkun comes in layers. The other way to think about it is kind of like when you play like video games, right? You're playing a video game, as soon as you get good, you're on a new level, and now it's hard again. And you suck on like Mario Kart level 2 or whatever it is, right? Until you get good, and then you can keep bumping up. And every time you bump up, is the challenge easier?
Harder.
Yeah, it's never easier. It's always on your level, right? Because if you have to earn it, it can't be easy. If it's easy, you're not earning it. So it's always your level. It's always hard. So for instance, someone who's living in LA, our tikkun here is just as hard for us as that poor kid in Africa who is barefoot and doesn't have clothes and is kicking the ball on the street. He has the same feelings of difficulty, the same happiness when he has joy as we do. It's not more for him. Okay. Okay, so we spoke about free will versus destiny. That the only free will you have, and I'm going to say this just so it sinks in more, is the moment where you feel uncomfortable. Okay, that's your opportunity to elevate to a higher or lower pre-written destiny, right? But it's like jumping to another movie. All those movies are already pre-written. You're just jumping into a higher level or lower level, okay? There's infinite destinies, we said that. Okay, so what I'm gonna challenge you guys to do, okay, the next week, your homework basically, is many of us, we try to like, I'm speaking for myself, we try to like change our kids, right? Like, we know what they need to do. We try to change our spouse. We try to like get them to be magical, right? Maybe we force them to go to therapy or read a book or whatever. The way to make your kids and your spouse magical is by you pausing. Your whole universe and destiny shifts. So for the next week, forget about controlling your family, your friends, everything around you. Just look for opportunities where you feel uncomfortable and try to pause and change that. And be excited. I got in a car accident? Yes! Yes! Oh, it's only a fender bender? Damn! Okay?
I'm not hospitalized. Damn.
Damn, God forbid, God forbid.
God
But
forbid.
there was an example that came to mind. What do we normally do in those situations? I shut down. Maybe someone else calls someone. Maybe we get mad. Maybe you lash out. Maybe you scream, right? Maybe someone is going to do drugs or drink or whatever it is. Whatever your comfort zone is to do in those hard moments, don't do it. Just sit with it. I'm not saying don't drink. Drink, but not to escape, not to avoid the situation. Not in a reactive way. Always when you're drinking or doing whatever, in a positive way. In a proactive, you're choosing the drink. The drink is not choosing you. Okay, I think we're done with class. Any questions, concerns, frustrations?
So what's a tikkun olam?
Tikkun olam is a term that they came up with to fix the world. So whenever you do something positive or help someone, people called it tikkun olam. You're fixing the world. Olam means world.
Can I ask a kind of stupid question?
Go for it.
So when negative things happen around you, and then you act excited or you act like yes, isn't that attracting the negative in some way? Because
you're reacting.
That's the way I think. So this is very different for me.
Okay, so say it again. So if something bad happens to you or something good?
Bad. You said if you're uncomfortable and you say yes, I got into God forbid accident or whatever. When you're looking at it in a positive way, isn't that attracting those types? That's the way I think. So this is very different.
Actually, there's a whole class about this that we talk about in Kabbalah too. That it's the opposite. Okay, that let's say you have a headache, you don't wish for the headache to go away. If I'm sitting here and I wish for my challenge to go away, if behind this challenge is, I don't know, my reward is light, it's energy, it's fulfillment, it's my child being happy, it's my child being confident, right? If I wish for that challenge to go away, all the light behind that challenge goes away.
So I wish to overcome challenges.
Correct.
Not to go away.
Correct. You wish to overcome them. But you can be happy
that
to deal with
them?
yes.
Okay, as long as they're not.
Because the person who has no challenges in a day, you have no hardship, you're not shifting your movement.
So I can say thank you God for this challenge. I hope to overcome it.
Correct.
With light or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to know how to speak to the situation.
Yeah.
Not even say hope. I will.
Yeah, I will give you the strength to whatever your language is.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and next class I'll talk about more of that.
Sorry to ask you so many questions.
It's okay, we're fine.
On the beginning, you mentioned that the child or the spirit picks the parent that he wants to be born.
Yeah.
Okay, and he picks the spirit picks the life.
Yes.
Does he know about the whole life?
Everything. They see the entire life before they're born, and they choose it. You even you chose everyone in this room, and everyone in this room chose you back.
And even they know that even if he knows that, for example, it's going to be so difficult or so bad.
Yes.
He is speaking just to challenge it.
Yes. So an example is, and I know this is a really hard one to swallow, but I'm going to say it anyway. When people have like a child and the child is sick and they say, why did this happen? Right? I can't answer why did this happen, but according to Kabbalah, what they say is whatever lesson that experience gave to everyone around them, meaning even the person who read it on the internet, they had a feeling, all of that was already determined, scripted, and for a purpose. So that child's purpose, whatever it was, to fix something, to finish something, to feel something, to evoke those feelings in everybody around them, they all chose each other. It's like, I don't know, is it Tinder or the other one where you have to choose each other?
That's a match.
Yeah.
So like, you know how they say like sometimes you could change your destiny? That's not.
You're changing your destiny by accumulating light, so you avoid a challenge that would have to teach you that. So Jennifer was positive and not reactive so much that she didn't need to experience getting robbed. Because she learned that, she worked on that, she banked that. Do you get it? That's why I said if you don't work on it, it just gets louder. First, maybe it's an annoying cousin. Then maybe it's an annoying, I don't know, daughter or son because you can't avoid them. Then it gets louder. Your lesson has to come.
So why do they say you change your Hebrew name and and it changes your?
So that they say That's for another day. That changes your.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
that's
sorry.
a whole nother. That's a whole nother.
No more questions from Anita.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But what they're trying to do in those situations is they're trying to interject light, because what you call something is important. Your words have power.
Got it.
Let's say you're born and you have a tikkun and you don't finish it. You come back over and over
Correct.
and over.
You're gonna finish it. So
Until
the
you
next
finish
lifetime
it.
you have two. If you didn't
So-
learn first grade, you're in second grade, and you have to learn first grade, and you have to learn second
So
grade.
you come back as much as you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
until you finish
Yes,
that.
but you're accumulating it. So it's not like, oh, I didn't learn how to write cursive, I'll just do it next lifetime. No, now next lifetime I have two things I have to work on.
It's
I'm gonna have a
be-
harder life.
It's gonna be harder.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Like
then
if you've mastered the cursive, you still have to do it again.
you'll have something else. You have a lot. You kind of like, it's a lesson plan. Are you working on math today? Are you working on adding and subtracting? There's a lot, we all have a lot that we have to work on. And then the other thing is, some people are born, like you see some people who are like born into like, either into poverty or into like wealth or whatever it is. Those things happen because those are the best scenarios to evoke their tikkun. Maybe if they didn't have money, they would experience certain things that they wouldn't experience if they didn't feel that. Or if they were born into money and it was always easy for them, they needed that situation to learn certain things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to learn. So everything, every experience, every chocolate bar you ate, everything has been perfectly orchestrated to propel you forward.
Before they used to tell us that, before you get born, God show you everything, the
Yeah.
whole life to you. But when you're going to be born, God bang it here and then you forget everything.
So this is
That's
kind of
why
the
you
same
have it
thing.
here.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what, yeah. So it's very similar.
That is really cute.
It's like God puts a finger right
Yeah.
here.
They say there's an angel
And
that
that's
touches
why
you right here,
The
And
light
that's why there's an
and you forget
indentation.
everything. And that's what
Something
we're
that they-
doing.
that they just say.
None of this information is new to you guys. When I speak it, you guys feel it, right?
Can you say that one more time about this?
You somewhere, they said that
If
God
they-
shows you before you get born, God shows you the whole life to you before you get born. And as soon as you born, God put his finger here, then you will forget whatever you saw. That's why you know your
Yeah.
life.
Well, those are instances where you're more connected. So you have that sixth sense, you have that premonition, you're more connected.
Yes, the more connected you
And the
are,
more you pause, the more of that you'll have.
Or you have a dream and then it happens.
So you're in sync. We all have multiple tikkuns. We all have a million things. There's going to be one or two things that are going to be more predominant in each lifetime. We have a million. Yes, we all have a million. We have a bag, baggage. Yes. Yes.
I'm about to pause about